In this video, we will learn how to use the OpenAI's API to interact with the GPT-3 language model to harness its natural language processing capabilities. For the first step, you need the API key from the OpenAI website. So just head over to the OpenAI website. If you have an account, then click on this login button. If you don't, then just sign up. I'm having an account here, so I'll be logging using that information. After you log into the OpenAI website, it will display something like this. So just click on this API. In the profile section, click on view API keys. Click on create new secret key and give a name for your API key. In this case, I'm going to give Python tutorial. Click on create API key. Just copy this API key and come over to our Python script. I'm going to create a new Python file. I'm going to store the API key in a API variable. API key equal to just paste the key that you have copied. So we have completed the first step, that is to get the API key from the OpenAI website. For the second step, we need to install the dependencies we need for this tutorial. In this case, we will use the OpenAI Python library. To install that, we will use the pip command. So open your command prompt and type pip install OpenAI. As you can see, it says requirement already satisfied. So just close this command prompt and import the OpenAI library. Import OpenAI. We need to set this API key to the OpenAI's API variable. OpenAI.API key equal to API key. Next, I'm going to define a function called generate. This function will take three parameters. The first one is the prompt, and the second one is the max token. We will give a max token a default value that is 50, and the third parameter is the output. Give outputs a default value equal to 3. So this generate function will help us to interact with the GPT-3 language model to generate response based on a given prompt. So this outputs here is a maximum number of responses to generate. Inside this, we will going to use the function call. Just type OpenAI.completion.create. So this is the method we use to make a request to the GPT-3 API. So this takes a series of parameters. So inside this, for the first parameter, I will pass here parameter call model. In this case, we will use a model called text davinci 003. So this is the model that we are going to use for this tutorial. And for the next parameter, we will give the prompt equal to prompt. And for the third parameter, we will set the max tokens equal to max token. And for the last parameter, we will set the number of outputs equal to outputs. So these are the parameters that we need to pass inside this create method. So after this, so let's capture the response in a response variable. This create function will return. So response equal to the output of this function. So after this, we're going to extract the generated text from this response variable. So for this I'm going to make a empty output list. So outputs equal to empty list. After this, we will use a for loop to iterate over each choice in the response. For k in response, we're going to access the choices. For each choice in the loop, we will access the text key. So text equal to, we will be accessing the text key here, and we will also use the strip method to remove any white space. After that, just append this text to the outputs list. Finally, we will return the outputs. So let's store the prompt in a prompt variable. So I will give you a prompt as right here, description about AI. So let's call the function. For the prompt, I will give the prompt variable that we have defined above, and for the max token is equal to 3000. So this is the maximum number of words and for the outputs I will use 1. So let's save the result in a result variable and print our result. So let's save this file and run now. As you can see, it generates a result based on the prompt that we give. So for this structuring the list, we can use a asterisk here. So let's rerun now. As you can see, now we have removed the list. So this is how we use the Python library to interact with the OpenAI's API. So this is for this video, and I will meet you next one.